official fire comment to all Broward Sheriff's Office fire rescue units and stations. Please stand by for special announcements. By the order of Sheriff Scott J. Israel and the Broward and Fire Chief Anthony P. Stravino, the Broward Sheriff's Office announces that today is the last day of duty for Battalion Chief Edward J. Federkeil, CCN number 12987. After 32 years of dedicated service, Battalion Chief Federkeil leaves us to begin his retirement. The Broward Sheriff's Office, as well as the citizens and visitors of Broward County, thank him for over his 32 years of service and wish him a long and healthy retirement. Battalion Chief Edward J. Federkeil is on duty today at his command station at Station 17, where you may wish him well. All units resume normal radio operation. Fire come clear at 8:01 hours.
Later, Ed, you did it. Good luck, Ed.
On behalf of Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel and Fire Chief Anthony P. Stravino, and all the men and women who proudly serve in the Broward Sheriff's Office, Department of Fire Rescue and Emergency Services, I welcome you to the formal retirement ceremony of Battalion Chief Edward J. Federkeil, badge number 12987. We are so honored to be joined today by Leanne, his wife, Aaron, his daughter, his mother, Heather, and sister, Edie. There's probably no time that there's more appropriate words. We use them often, but this time it's probably a little more special. I have no ambition in this world but one, and that is to be a fireman. The position, in the eyes of some, appear to be a lowly one. But we who know the work which a fireman has to do believe that his is a noble calling. We strive to preserve from destruction the wealth of the world, which is the product of industry of men, necessary for comfort of both the rich and the poor. We are the defenders from fire of the art which has beautified the world, the product of genius of men, and the means of the refinement of mankind. But above all, our proudest endeavor is to save the lives of men, the work of God himself. Under the impulse of such thoughts, the nobility of the occupation thrills us and stimulates us to deeds of daring, even at the supreme sacrifice. Such considerations may not strike the average mind, but they are sufficient to fill the limit of our ambition in life and to make us serve the general purpose of human society. These were the words of Chief Edward Croker, who was chief of FDNY in late 1880s. And just like Ed, he rose through the ranks, serving all the way through battalion chief before becoming chief of department. Just a couple words about Ed, who stands before you, how he got here to you today. Edward was appointed to the department in Halloween 1983 at the ripe old age of 21 years old. He was part of the newly formed Broward Fire Department, who currently is the last remaining member of the original group of 24 that were hired after the merger of all the fire sub-districts. Also, many of you know, he was one of the founding members of the County Hazardous Materials team that was established in 1985. He's been the coordinator of that team since 2003. While working in the department, Ed has held every rank on the team, from firefighter, driver, lieutenant, captain, and battalion chief. He was promoted to lieutenant in '88, captain in 2003, and finally, when one battalion chief, who might be me, got out of his way, he made battalion chief in 2006. As a company officer, he worked on the same crew for 20 plus years on the hazmat team. Many of you may have seen probably one of the first station shirts here in Broward County, Club 32, whose motto was, "You don't have to call us because we're coming anyway." I will say it was a proud moment to be part of that era. The only way I can describe what Ed created with his crew, his boys, his men, was they were like jolly red giants that stomped fires out and mitigated hazmats throughout Broward County. Probably the equivalent I could give anybody to understand what it was like being part of that era. It's probably like the '72 undefeated Dolphins. To give you a sports reference. It was a wonderful time that I'm just so glad to be a part of. To give you an idea how special that crew is to Edward, myself, others, that crew, Engine 23's crew, actually all 5 of the members are the godfathers to my daughter Riley. Just to give you an idea how special that group of individuals is and that what Edward cultivated. A lot of you don't know some of the side things that Ed may have worked on in his career. After he did not become union president in 1989, he went into business. Many of you might be customers of California Custom Sport Trucks. No, he didn't pay me for the endorsement, but I might get a discount or something. And he traveled the country competing with NHRA drag racing circuit, and he became a multi-time national and divisional champ. One of the largest benefits that Ed received out of that, at a race in Dallas, Texas in 1992, he met his wife, Leanne. Probably more unique, we are lucky enough to have an actual candidate or rookie class here with us today. And one of the things that, even though Ed is leaving us today, there'll be a legacy that'll live on in this department long after he's gone. Currently, those helmets are issued, those New York style helmets, the 1010s, steel roof books, the one-piece sports Halligan tools, a lot of other equipment that you use on the trucks today. A lot of that came to the department because Ed took the bull by the horns and started our research and development for the department. One of the other things that you may not be aware of, rapid intervention teams in its infancy. A lot of people didn't know what they were. Ed actually brought it here to Broward County. He secured the funding for not only the training and the equipment, and we were leaders and innovators in the county in providing rapid intervention teams for firefighter safety. Just on a personal note, I would say this is not a sad moment, but this is actually a very happy moment. What a wonderful and storied career Ed has had. Probably the most important thing that we can reflect on today is what a great legacy and the fact that we get to return him safely home. What a wonderful accomplishment. At this time, I'm going to ask that the Chief of Special Operations, Michael Nugent, come forward to present Edward with his retirement badge. Before I bring the next group of individuals up, I do want to acknowledge and thank the Fire Chief of Fort Lauderdale, Robert Herschel, and also our former Fire Chief of not only Broward, but Miami-Dade, Herminio Lorenzo, for attending. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to call up that legendary crew I was talking about, led by Captain Vince Rodas, to present Edward with his retirement helmet. This time I'd like to point out the American flag you see before you was flown over, Ed actually is still finishing up his shift, so his last duty shift, this flag was flown over Station 17 in his last command. This time we're going to ask that the Fire Chief Anthony P. Servino present him with that flag.
All uniforms down, and go! Present, on!
Those of you that got to attend the farewell dinner last night, there's a beautiful wooden grain box that his station presented him last night. But those of you who know Ed, who's a little OCD, he's already somehow managed to get that in his house and up on the mantle already, minus the flag. So those of you that were here last night, we thank you very much, and from his station, thank you very much, Ed. Next, before I call the next individual, I'm going to remind him that the statute of limitations is still on the clock, and he still is employed here currently. I'd like to call up firefighter Michael Silvestri, also known as Fluffy, for a few brief comments.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me? I'm kind of a shy guy. I thought this was going to be a very easy morning for me, and it's not. Seeing Ed last night at the dinner, and now this morning. I was putting pen to paper a few days ago and started writing down some stories since I had gotten hired, and then I remembered who I was going to have standing to my right. And I decided that Maybe I should get up here and make it nice and short. I know it's about 90 degrees. For me, this is not obviously the end. Everything that we've shared together, I'll hold in my heart, and the memories will always be in my mind. But I will tell one story, and that was the first time I met then brand new Lieutenant Federkeil at Station 34, and I was observing his demeanor, and his firefighter at the time was Craig Hilty, and I watched him for a little bit, and the way he dressed me up and down, talked to me, I said, oh dear God, I hope I never have him as an officer. Well, little did I know I was going to spend a good majority of my career with him. And the fires that we fought, especially during the 90s, and then the big transition from running our basic hazmat calls, our gas leaks, and chemical spills, tanker rollovers, to white powder. And it has completely changed. And all in a good way. Most of you know that this hazmat team is probably rated one of the highest in the country. And a lot of that is due to Chief Federkeil's efforts. And I want to thank him for that. I want to thank him for his guidance over the years, keeping me straight and narrow. And I want to thank everybody here that didn't have to be here, people that drove from many miles away, for being here for my chief. Thank you very much. Ed, I want to thank you again. And I hope we have many memories down there in the Keys on your boat. Thank you very much.
Before we hear comments from the man of the hour, I'm going to ask that he do an inspection of his troops as he's outgoing. Honor guard.
Battalion 17. Attention.
I know you guys know I'm not a man of many words, and I usually have a problem communicating my thoughts, but I'm going to do my best here. I'm very overwhelmed by this whole turnout today. When I look down the street and I see all them rigs, I thought, am I dead? Is this a funeral? Because I've never seen that many fire trucks before. Something like that. For all the agencies that participated, thank you. Wasn't going to do a ceremony. I am not a guy with much fanfare. For some of you that have been around a while, you know that I didn't show up for my 30th birthday party because I didn't want to be recognized. But my wife told me it's probably the best pearl of wisdom that she could. She said, this ain't about you. This is about your guys. It's about the people you love and you work with. And I says, you know what? And she loves to hear this. I says, you're right, honey. You're right. You know, I need to honor you guys. You were the guys that did it for me. At whatever level we worked at. You know, this is not a place easy to walk out of. And if it is easy to walk out of, you were never here. Because this is family. This is a 30-year life. This is a lifestyle of love and brotherhood. People use that term loosely in the fire service, but, you know, I know who the real guys are out there, and you do too. Keep the tradition. I've enjoyed my whole career here. I started, they said, we're going to give you $6 an hour and get to ride the fire truck and go to fires. I said, well, damn, I'm in on that. You know, it's been an up and down struggle because we've been faced with annexation, we've been faced with layoffs, we've been up, we've been down, we've been in business, we've been out of business, but you know what? We've always managed to survive. So the guys that have been here for a long time, they're tough. Like Chief Keith said, you know, I want my legacy to be more than New York style helmets, steel roof hooks, and one-piece halliards. You know, I would hope that I did a little bit more than that here and touched you guys a little bit more, some in a negative way. I'd like to extend some gratitude to some individuals, first my company officers and my firefighters. You made it really easy for me, especially for the last couple years. You did what you're supposed to do. You had your tools in your hand. You broke glass. You know I love that sound. And you made it easy. And I hope I made it as easy on you. Walt Dix. Where's Walter? Didn't always agree with him. Didn't always like what he did. But when you look at this thing through a telescope and not a microscope, he did me and my family well. Walter and the whole union, I thank you. Chief Herschel, first thank you for coming. You trained me in the academy. You trained me when I got hired. You trained me in STAR and all those classes that were the predecessors for modern technical rescue. Back when we got rid of stranded manila rope and some of those other things. I also thank you for bringing your people here to share this day with me. Chief Herschel, I thank you. Logistics, unsung heroes on this job. Without them, we would not have the tools we need to do our job. They need to be recognized for that. Miriam and your staff, I thank you. Gene Nugent. That's the first time I hugged a man in a dress in public. Didn't feel too bad. When I got promoted, I was your boss, and then I finished up with you being my boss. Couldn't have had a better guy. You're the real deal. Sometimes a little misunderstood, but aren't we all? Chief Keith and Kronheim, you guys have been awesome. You know, I mean, you helped me every step of the way. I remember the day when Chief Lorenzo brought Keith into Club 32. He said, Edward, I want you to meet one of our new battalion chiefs from Pembroke Park. And I look at this kid, he's in his 20s. And I said, what's this Jerry Seinfeld lookalike going to do? Honestly, we sized him up that day and said, man, we don't know what we're in for. But I got to tell you, you never judge a book by its cover. Probably one of the smartest men in the fire service. He commanded me. Hopefully there was a comfort knowing that when he heard us taking in the job, that whatever needed to be done, no matter how dirty, no matter how hard, the boys of 32 were going to handle it. You, sir, are a talented individual, and you're going to go places. You almost went out the door a couple times, but you're pretty resilient. Chief Herminio Lorenzo, you were the first fire chief from the the outside to come to this agency. And we were all skeptic. We were all skeptic about the dream team. You, Chief DeYoung, Chief Earl, and Wild Wayne Mallard. But I gotta tell you put the fire back into this fire department. You saved this fire department with the regional services plan. We all stand today in one of the houses that Herman built. Without his hard work, dedication, perseverance, maybe a little political influence, that regional plan was created to save the fire department. And for everything you've done, Chief Lorenzo, I thank you. Captain David Erdman, one of my proudest accomplishments on the job, I rode the rescue truck 7 times. Yeah, who else has got that stat? But I got to tell you, as I rose through the ranks and I was exposed to more supervisory issues with the MS, I always could call a friend, and you always answered, and you always had the right answer. It kept us from killing somebody. Captain Erdman, hey, I thank you. Chief William Kepler, you didn't get the opportunity to stand where I'm standing right now. So I want to share a little of my moment with you. You were my chief for the better part of my career. You drove me and a bunch of us absolutely nuts. But you know what? You were loyal to this fire department and to your people to a fault. We knew you loved us. We knew you cared about us. And for that, I would like everyone here to give Chief Rick Kepler a round of applause. You deserve this moment. What can I say about the boys from 32? What could anybody else say? We rode together for the better part of 20 years. We never bid out. We never got promoted. We never took tests. But we went through a lot of fires. And there are times I can't even remember all of them, but that's what I signed up for. I remember in the open cab days of coming down the road, there were no headsets. There was none of that stuff. I remember beating on the window, the slider, and giving the thumbs up to let them know that we had a job. The only problem with that was that they were beating on the diamond plate so hard I could not hear the radio or talk on it. Never, ever, ever did I have to say, we need to do this. When the you-know-what hit the fan, they were there every time, every fire. Some of them, when I look back, we should have never been in. Should have never went in there. We go in the next day and go, we should have died in there. But you guys were there. You were responsible for who I am today. 20 years. And I apologize for you guys being guilty by association with me. I thank you guys. Last but not least, my family, my wife, my mom, my sister, my daughter, friends. I'm trying to remember when I started this journey, to be honest with you. And, wow. Thank you for support, for being there, for me smelling like a fire for 2 days afterwards every time I took a shower. I'm going to miss that, and I have missed that. But to all of you, I see the recruits in the back, especially the one that thought I was a janitor the other day. Sorry, bud. I'm only kidding. Happens to anybody. Love the job. Love this job with all of your heart. Cherish this job because it will be good to you, like it has been good to me. And it's hotter than hell out here, so without further ado, anything left? Got it? Got it? I'm done.
Honor Guard is going to leave with this closing statement. Ed alluded to it. Brotherhood is thrown around pretty loosely sometimes. Ed, you are our brother. We are yours. God bless and good luck in your retirement. Honor Guard, on your command.